Hello and good morning. You're listening to Thom and Charlie on Teller Time, broadcasting from the Immer Cabin, that cozy little log hideaway lovingly kept by the Ute Pass Historical Society, who just happens to be our sponsor as well and located behind the Woodland Park Library. The vibes are strong, the coffee is hot, and yes, the moose is officially loose. The event continues till March 1st, and the scavenger hunt is going on right now. Coffee crawl is coming up, soon to be followed by a paint the town with the moose, and food events are happening all over town. The Moose Art Adventure is February 28th from 12 to 3 p.m., beginning at Reserve Art Gallery. For more information, the website is mooseislooseSale.com, all one word. All right, we've got stories to share, happenings to cover, and just enough mountain town mischief to keep things interesting. So pull up a chair, pretend you're sitting by that old cabin stove, and let's roll into a day full of community chuckles and a grab bag of delightful nonsense. This is Teller Time. Today we're stepping into a different kind of time machine. We're joined by Mike Bryant, the driving force behind the Reimagine History Park, right here in Woodland Park. If you've ever wondered what it looks like when local history gets a fresh spark and when old stories meet new energy, well, Mike is the guy making that happen. From hands-on experiences to re-envisioned exhibits, he's helping shape a space where our community can connect with the past in ways that feel alive, relevant, and downright fun. Mike, welcome to Teller Time. We're excited to hear how the Reimagined History Park is evolving and what's next for this growing Woodland Park story.
No, Mike's been a brilliant asset to the board and the Historical Society, and he's got just an amazing past and an amazing present. And so I think I don't even know where to start. I think the appropriate thing to do, Mike, is for you to tell everybody really some of your background, where you came from, and how you got here with us.
Sure. Uh, well, I've lived in Woodland Park for 4 years now. We love it up here. We visited my sister out in Colorado Springs back in 2020 when we were looking for a new place to live. Our kids were in school and we didn't feel like we needed to be in Iowa anymore. And my sister recommended checking out Woodland Park. We drove up here and just fell in love with it. So we've been up here since 2022. And in terms of my background, I've always been interested in history. Even back in high school, I was interested in history. I ended up studying history in college, went on and got a master's degree in history, and then, planned to make a career out of it. But at that time, there really weren't any jobs in my field at the college level, which is what I wanted to do. So I went on, got my teaching credentials, did the whole thing, took all the classes, did the student teaching, and realized I couldn't stand teenagers. So went a different way in my career. Spent my whole career basically with the federal government, administering the student loan programs. So lived in Washington, D.C. for a while, working for them. Got a chance to move back to Iowa when my kids were born, which I did. But history's always been my avocation, doing a lot of stuff with family history and teaching adult Sunday school classes on church history. And then back in Iowa, got involved with our local historical society, offering walking tours of our city and doing research on projects there. So, when I came out here, I really wanted to get involved with the Ute Pass Historical Society. And even before I got here, I was researching guys who were working on the first documentary at that time on the dew branches. I remember seeing a teaser for that on YouTube, and got involved to the extent I could by donating money ahead of time to help you guys out with that.
Right.
And then when I got here, basically got involved with you guys pretty much as soon as I retired from my career with the federal government. The timing just kind of worked out well. you guys were in a transition. Donna was just leaving.
Yep.
At that time, you were taking over as president, Charlie, and you needed somebody to take minutes for the meetings. So,
And then we needed a treasurer, and you became that as well.
and a web person.
And the web guy too, man.
So-
You're just you're a renaissance man of your own.
All these skills that I don't have, but that I fake along the way.
Well, you do a great job. And actually, I think we first met at the car show a few years ago, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anita Wallace had asked me to help volunteer for that, and that was really my first event helping out with UPHS. I had I was getting ready to retire at that point, and that was the first time we did the Cruise Above the Clouds, which I love. I mean,
Oh, it's a great
old cars and the passion of those people that put their lives into restoring an old car, and it's a skill that I don't have, but I truly admire it, and love talking to those people and seeing the work they've done. So that was really the first thing, and then shortly thereafter that you asked me to take minutes for the meetings, and it's all history from there.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, and I asked you if you wanted. You didn't have to do it, but man, I'm glad you did. You have taken on the Reimagine History Park, which this building we're in recording in is part of History Park, and it's really a fascinating place. And the thing about it is, we're a little off the beaten path behind the library here. However, people still find us, and we do good things. But I'd like you, because I asked Mike, I asked you to kind of make a presentation for the city council and let them know what we're looking at. It is part of a T-Mobile grant to fix this whole history park up. And could you elaborate on it for us? And just
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got this opportunity to apply for the T-Mobile grant, the T-Mobile Hometown Small Town Grants, where every quarter they give out money to towns like Woodland Park that are smaller than 25,000 people and that have some kind of challenge that they're trying to overcome. And you actually forwarded me that grant information, and we had been talking about doing some renovations at History Park, and that's when Charlie just fell on the floor.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh my God, my hip. No.
So, we had talked about different things that we needed having done at History Park, and in fact, the first thing that Anita had asked me to do was did I know anybody who could install some ADA compliant ramps to the cabins at History Park? And that's when I got my introduction to local government and the regional board here that governs codes and so forth and inspections. That project, which seemed like it was very simple at the start, blossomed very quickly, and we realized it was going to be impractical. But that kind of planted the seed for, we really could make History Park more accessible.
Yeah.
And, do some other things to kind of spruce it up, right? We've been given a beautiful History Park legacy here by the people that came before us at the Ute Pass Historical Society. It's absolutely fantastic if you haven't been here. The cabins are stocked with tons and tons of old artifacts, and they're all organized in a very logical fashion. But the exterior of the park it sits on city ground, and the biggest problem that I've seen as a docent here giving tours is the paths that connect the little cabins in History Park. They're made out of gravel, and so they're uneven. In the spring, they're muddy. In the winter, it's really hard to remove snow. So if somebody comes in and wants a tour, even if you're not mobility impaired, it can be a challenge certain times of the year. But certainly if you are mobility impaired, it's going to be a problem, right? And here in Teller County, like a third of our population is over 65. We've got a lot of retired military, many of whom are disabled. So we need to make these cabins accessible to everybody in Teller County. And so the T-Mobile grant, which is up to 50,000, we did some kind of back of the envelope calculations, and we realized we could, replace those gravel paths with concrete and make the park a lot safer, a lot more accessible for everybody year round. And so we worked with Linda Allred, God bless her, who drew up a beautiful rendering of what a reimagined history park could look like. And Charlie, you sent that out on Facebook earlier this week. So you folks out there listening, go to our Facebook page and you could see the architectural drawing.
And we'd like your opinions, That's the whole idea.
Yes.
We'd like you to chime in and tell us what you think. Really, the idea, it's curb appeal, and it's safer, and it's just a more attractive look, and it just makes sense because the city itself is really upgrading everything they've got as well. So it's just going to go hand in hand with what everybody's doing. But yeah, no, Mike, you presented that wonderfully at the city council. They got all excited about it, and we're looking forward to getting that grant. All we need is one more letter of recommendation or something, I think.
Well, we have to submit the application.
Right.
And it's going to entail two things. We're not just going to put in flat gray concrete paths, which would be the least expensive route. We want to keep the look, the historic feel of History Park. So we're going to do stamped and dyed concrete. It's going to look like an old.
Be really nice. Yeah.
Yep. We want something that is going to make History Park feel inviting to people that are visiting the library, for example. We're right across from the main entrance to the library. So we need to get the bids on that, which we're doing right now. We've already gotten one of them, and we know the 50,000 is enough to do that major piece of what we're imagining.
Right.
And then, so we'll submit that application by the end of March, and then we'll know by the end of May if we're a recipient of the grant or not. And we should be able to get started in June if we get the grant. We can submit up to 5 letters of support from community organizations. And as you pointed out, Charlie, we've got 4 of the 5 in hand. We're just waiting for one more.
One more, yeah.
Yep. And
we'll find that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's, there are several different options we can choose from. We've reached out to a couple, but the ones that we've gotten them from, Chamber of Commerce, the city council voted a resolution to support this. So we're getting broad support from here in town. The Historic Preservation Committee.
That's right.
Main Street.
Yeah. So I think there's definitely excitement behind the whole thing. And also, that's going to just kind of, it'd be wonderful if we could get that happening sooner than later, because as I don't know if everybody knows, but there's a lot of anniversaries going on. There's the country 250th anniversary, the state 150th, the city of Woodland Park is 50th, and the Historical Society's 50th. And with that, there's going to be a real busy summer with the 4th of July. It's going to be awesome. Gail Gross is kind of organizing a lot of that. And we're involved with the city and putting on the Colorado Vintage Baseball Association game is going to be played here in Woodland Park.
There you go.
And we've got some
nice little promo.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. And we got some potential players lined up to play the old timers. And one of them might be UC Health, and the fire department's ready to go again. Last year, that game was close, 18-17, and Divide Fire Department won that one. And it was kind of cold out that day. So this time it's going to be August 8th in Woodland Park. And, it's going to be the ice cream, root beer floats and hot dogs,
Cracker Jack, yeah. And you'll
The
be
whole
playing,
thing.
right, Charlie? You'll be playing.
I might, depending.
Yeah.
Just
You got a new hip. You got to break in that
I
new hip.
get
You got.
well, I got to get it. I got to get to you and start training.
There you go. We'll get you all. Get you all.
Oh, I know you will. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, that's a snapshot of what's going on with us and Mike's involvement with the whole thing. And I know, Tom, you got stuff
Oh yeah.
to talk
So,
about.
the more I do this podcast, the more I become interested in the history of Woodland Park, which is kind of fun, which is something I never thought before. So we are actually sitting in History Park. It is actually behind the library. It is 3 buildings: the yellow building, the Immer cabin. Is there 2 or 3 buildings?
There's a total of 5 cabins.
Okay.
So there's the Carroll Den,
Yeah.
there's the Immer, there's the Steffa down there, which is on the other side of
Okay.
the library. And then we've got the Brockhurst cabin, and then also we've got the original town jail that was built
That's right.
in 1891. It was the first public building they built.
Okay.
If you know the history of Woodland Park, there was actually Manitou Park, which came along before Woodland Park. That was like both a resort and a lumber operation going up around where Manitou Lake is right now. And apparently a little town had kind of sprung up here on the site of what eventually became Woodland Park, where, Baldwin had a store. Of course, we have Baldwin Avenue named for him. And apparently things were a little rowdy in that because they were catering
That's right.
to the lumber guys working up in Manitou Park. And so when Woodland Park was incorporated as a town in 1891, the very first ordinance that they passed was an ordinance against public nudity
That's right.
Oh, geez.
drunkenness.
A lot of streaking going on.
I think so. And the first building they built was this jail. So
Yeah.
they were sending word that we turn the page
That's right.
on what's been going on here, and we're going to have a new name, Woodland Park, and it's
Yeah.
going to be a different kind of town.
No nudity. So,
No nudity.
all right. Well, and the jail is sitting right here in the middle of History Park. And it's really a fascinating looking thing. The whole thing. It's like a walking tour that we give to the public, but it's like the museum itself because all the artifacts that are in each building, and it's very interesting. We encourage you guys to come along and take advantage of this place.
I see an idea for a mini scavenger hunt
Oh,
going through these cabins and just having the kids
I
find,
mean, different
Yes.
artifacts. It's
Yeah.
exciting.
that is a
Yeah.
good idea.
adult supervision so they don't pick up Raggedy Andy and pull his arm off or something. He's sitting over there, poor guy. But yeah, I think that'd be another way to educate the kids. Just have a nice scavenger hunt and they get, something for free of it. Because it is pretty amazing. I mean, just the kitchen itself. We'll be talking about the kitchen a little bit anyhow. I'm going to talk about the kitchen here. But yeah, it's just fascinating just sitting here looking at all the, wondering how old all these relics are. No, not you, Charlie.
Yeah.
How old everything is in
Thanks.
this building. It's
That's
pretty
right.
cool. So anyway, got to get a jab in.
Well,
All right.
That's right.
All right, Teller County, buckle up. It's officially that magical moment in the show when we stop pretending to be serious adults and let the funniness run wild. Yes, I said funniness. Not humor, not comedy, but funniness. The kind of stuff that makes your coffee come out of your nose if you're not careful.
And that happened.
Or you fall off your chair.
Yeah, that happens.
So sit back and here we go. Mike, question for you. If someone gave you a time machine, but it only went to Woodland Park in different decades, which decade would you like to visit?
I would probably come back to the very beginning. I'm big on the origins of things, so I would come back even in the 1880s before Woodland Park was incorporated, because I'd like to see all this nudity.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Yeah,
The Streak before Ray Stevens did the song The Streak,
Exactly.
right?
yeah.
All right. What's the most creative historical fact someone has confidently told you that was absolutely not true?
The most, say it one more time, the most,
All right. What's the most creative historical fact someone has confidently told you that was absolutely not true?
wow, I've heard a lot of them over the years, but When I first moved out here, there was a guy at a furniture store that I visited. He was telling me all about how Cripple Creek used to be the capital of Denver or of Colorado, and I was like, gee, that doesn't sound right.
No.
But he was sure that Cripple Creek was at one point the capital of Colorado.
Hmm.
So,
It was big at one point, but I
It
don't
was
think
big.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah. No.
If History Park had Yelp reviews from the 1890s, what do you think pioneers would complain about first?
well, certainly the lack of nudity.
That's
A big
right.
one. Yeah, I think in the 1890s, of course, we had the railroad by that point, so it was getting here was a lot easier than it had been before. Um, yeah, probably too many Mexican restaurants in Woodland Park.
Well.
I guess.
There are several.
Yes.
That's okay.
All right. If Woodland Park had an official smell, what would it be?
Oh man! Now I came from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where Quaker Oats is located, and they make Cap'n Crunch.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're making Cap'n Crunch, you smell it everywhere in town. It's not a good smell. So
Oh,
Woodland Park smells like totally clean and
There you go.
pristine to me. So I would say Woodland Park has a wonderful smell.
yeah. Yeah.
That's a good way to avoid dodge the bullets and everything. Sure.
Why not?
All right. Usually after funny questions, we get into a little bit of a lightning round. So we're going to start you off with the 1890s or 1980s. Which would you pick?
Well, I grew up in the 1980s. That's when I was in high school. I would go. Are you talking would I rather live in the
Yes.
1980s?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'd definitely rather live in the 1980s.
There you go.
Hmm.
Gold Rush.
Indoor plumbing and
Yeah.
Gold Rush or Coffee Rush?
yeah, coffee rush,
Log Cabin or Miner's Shack?
log cabin.
hmm
All right. And if you could describe Woodland Park in a word, what would you say?
Friendly.
Friendly. That seems to be the consensus of opinion.
It does.
A lot of people.
Almost every week they talk.
So I tell you, I've lived all over this country. I've never been a place where the people are as friendly as they are here.
Mhm.
And I think it's because people who live here want to be here.
Mhm.
A lot of people move here because of the beauty and the access to all the natural resources. It's not a place where people move to because, oh, my job took me here.
Right.
They're moving here because this is where they want to be, and that makes them happy to
Right.
be here in Woodland Park.
Well, I definitely think. I mean, that seems to be the buzzword for up here, and yeah, definitely not talking bad about Colorado Springs, but I think we're definitely more friendly up here than Colorado Springs is. So yeah, gotta come up and see what's going on. All right, Mike, it was very exciting to hear about everything that is happening with the park, and we thank you for sharing your focus and goals. It's at this point where we wrap it up for our guest spot on today's episode of Teller Time, but just to make sure anything we may have forgotten, your contact info, your website, what about future events, or do you need volunteers?
We're always looking for volunteers here at the Historical Society, and one skill set that I think we would really appreciate, and I know there's a bunch of gardeners up here in Teller County, we really need somebody who knows how to take care of the grounds here
Uh-huh.
at History Park and could help us maintain them better. It's definitely not a skill that I have, and we seem to be lacking in it as an organization. So if there's any gardener out there who wants to make this your baby
Oh yeah.
and make this place beautiful, please.
There's
touch with us.
you hit on something. It's a specialty to find the right type of plants that are deer resistant. That is, they sustain themselves through droughts and stuff like that to get the right plants. But also, one thing you don't see a lot of, and it can happen, is a nice thick lawn somewhere. Some of that stuff. And so I'm with you on this, Mike. Yeah, anybody out there that can actually help us out on that kind of beautifying the place is well appreciated. And you can contact us
There you go.
with
Yeah, our email address is utepasshis@gmail.com. You can find it on our website, utepasshs.org. Of course, message us on Facebook. Any number of ways. Just stop into the gift shop here behind the library. We're open 11 to 3 Wednesday through Saturday, and I'll be there today.
Yeah.
I guess probably before you hear this podcast, right? But
Yeah, on Friday.
I'm here on Fridays. 11 to 3.
Nice, nice. All right. Thanks for stopping by and giving us a fresh look at the stories that are shaping Woodland Park and the ones still unfolding. We appreciate the work you're doing to keep our history alive, accessible, and a whole lot more interesting than a textbook ever made it. We'll see you back here again, definitely, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you know the Immer cabin was originally built in 1876? The same year that Colorado became a state. Did you know that, Charlie? Street gang and alcohol. Wild early days of Woodland Park and Divide.
I did know that.
There you go. We just heard about that, so that's kind of interesting. They'll have to incorporate the Ray Stevens song in the background.
Yeah. Oh, could do. Yeah.
Yeah. Ute Pass was once a buffalo trail, long before wagons or railroads. It was so well traveled that early settlers said the path was as smooth as a barn door. Okay, and talking about the Emmer cabin, yeah, you got to see the kitchen in this place. It's very small, very tight quarters, very low ceilings, and everything within arm's reach because it had to be for efficiency and lack of space, obviously. And just looking at the wood burning stove we got here, I bet if you think about it, you can almost smell biscuits baking in there.
That's right. And you're probably baking them.
There you go. There you go. All right. So now it's time for our word of the day. That little weekly nugget that just makes us all a little bit smarter or makes you raise an eyebrow. Word of the day is higgledy piggledy.
What?
It's a real word. Higgledy, Higgledy, piggledy, Piggledy.
Yeah, I bet you got that off Warner Brothers Looney Tunes, right?
The definition, it's a jumbled, confused, or disorderly manner. To use it in a sentence, as such, the children's toys were left higgledy-piggledy all over the living room. What can I say? All right, now it's time for our whirlwind tour of all elements happening from the lakeside charm of Green Mountain Falls through the heart of Woodland Park and Divide, all the way down the gold dust streets of Victor and perhaps a little beyond. Local Lions Club has their cornhole game every Wednesday till March 4th at Shining Mountain Golf Course starting at 6 p.m. We have a St. Patrick's Day parade coming up starting at 12 noon on March 14th, and they're still looking for sponsorships and participants. If you're interested, you can please call Mickey at 719-210-4583 for information. Following up on last week's podcast, the Colorado Mission of Mercy Dental Clinic will be at the Cripple Creek High School Friday, September 25th. Doors opening at 6 a.m., so get there as soon as you can. Again, that name was the Colorado Mission of Mercy Free Dental Work. And for more information, their website is comom, COMOM.org. Anyone interested in boxing? The Kid Blackie Boxing Club out of Cripple Creek in Victor presents Jack Dempsey Days, a pro-amateur boxing event June 20th being held at the Double Eagle Hotel and Casino. For more information, you can call them at 719-689-5000. There's a very important wildlife safety community forum coming up February 28th from 2 to 4:30 p.m. at the Summit Elementary School. There'll be a panel of local leaders and experts that will share relevant information for Teller County pertaining to wildfire preparation, and then they'll open the floor for questions and answers. Definitely worth the trip. Definitely worth sitting in on. Teller County Sheriff's Office will be having their CPR and AED training February 28th at 5:30 p.m. Sign up for that. Again, that's another first come, first served. The Speak Life Project, we had Kristen on here before. They will be doing a rock painting at the Strength and Healing Massage Therapy located at 750 US Highway 24. March 21st from 2 to 4 p.m. Just putting little messages on stones and just expressing your happiness. Woodland Park is going to be performing Grease from April 9th to the 12th, and tickets are on sale now. That's going to be an interesting one because it's always interesting how they made the transformation of Sandy.
Oh, yes.
Nice to naughty. That's going to be interesting to see how they pull that off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We have a big album release coming up on June 7th at the Ute Pass Cultural Center, consisting of all original artists, and we'll actually be talking with one of them over the next few weeks on our podcast. For more information, you can call 303-854-0832 or go to Rose and Thorn, that's all one word, roseandthethorn.com. Green Box, located in Green Mountain Falls. They handle a lot of the artwork and the exhibits in there. They're hiring for a box office associate and a stage company manager. You can go to their Facebook page for more information. Wines of Colorado is having a trivia night every Wednesday starting at 7 o'clock, and they ask you to sign up by calling 719-684-0900 to reserve your spots. And you know, with April comes the big Easter egg hunt. 10,000 eggs will be scattered all around Memorial Park. That is happening Saturday, April 4th from 11 to 1 p.m. Okay? If you're a card collector, trading card collector, Pokemon, baseball cards, any of that the Colorado Phoenix Project will be holding a Kid Confidence card event Saturday, March 15th from 1:30 to 5:30 in Colorado Springs at the Arc Center, located at 10 North Main Avenue. Okay, so that's pretty much a wrap on today's Teller Time. Again, big thanks for our guest, Mike Bryant. And again, we appreciate you listening on Spotify, on YouTube, on Facebook, or on Apple iTunes. And if you have any questions, comments, or you're just interested in joining me and Charlie on a podcast, send your email to tellertime25, all one word, at gmail.com, or leave a comment on our Facebook page. So the coffee's gone. The stories of Teller County live to fight another day. Until next time, stay out of trouble. I'll close the show with a quote from Winston Churchill, who said, "Success is not final, and failure is not. It is the courage to continue that counts."
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon.